everybody, my name's Marty. I'm joined by Megan, Mitch, and Esme. Guys, thank you for being here. We're here to discuss our decisions in Telltale's Tales from the Borderlands, Episode 3, Catch a Ride.
Catch a Ride!
Catch a Ride! Which had weirdly little amounts of Scooter
You got
in it.
one frame of Scooter.
One frame of Scooter.
He was V-chatting.
He was V-chatting. There's a lot of V-chat. I reviewed this. This was my favorite episode of Tales from the Borderlands so far. I adore the series. I gave it a 9. You guys liked it, not quite as much as I did.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I don't know that I 9.0 loved it.
You don't know
but
if you want to make a baby with it.
yeah, I mean, I would see it for a while and see how things went.
Yeah.
Big fan though.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the characters and the choices in this episode.
Mm-hmm. So the big decision that pays off right at the beginning is from episode 2, and it's whether you, when everyone's surrounded, whether you just choose to side with Jack or side with Fiona. And I know the three of us went with Fiona, but luckily you went with Jack.
I went with Jack.
You're a Jack girl. Yeah, a little bit crazy, and that's sort of what you need. So how did your first decision, or your first scene sort of play out?
It was very chaotic.
Yeah.
I can tell you right off the bat that there were guns flying and Jack was being a tool and Reese was in a lot of trouble because people were like, why did you choose Jack?
Yeah.
But it was awesome, and I got a really cute little flying machine called Dumpy.
So that's the whole thing, is you take, when you're taking control of the sort of flying turrets, there's a really crappy one named Dumpy.
Aww.
You take control of Dumpy, and there's a scene where he's flying through and you're like shooting dudes as you go along, and then Dumpy dies. But you put Dumpy in your pocket.
Yep.
So Dumpy's gonna come back later for Megan. We're never gonna have Dumpy.
No,
R.I.P. Dumpy. But how did the scene play out for us?
There was no Dumpy. However, there was one of the turrets fell on a man named Gary's face. Gary is now dead. But yeah, it's the flashbang goes off. Reese and Fiona climb down a ladder. There's a little escape hatch. They go out into a hallway. It's like a decent little escape segment where you're issuing commands to say like, okay, you're gonna take cover here, and then you're gonna move forward, and I'm gonna take your spot. Then we're gonna alternate. We're just gonna kind of leapfrog through this hallway to avoid
it sort of
getting
taught
shot.
you some of the things that you need to do later on in the episode as well. And there's a scene where Fiona gets her hat. She has to use her hat, and it gets destroyed, which I think all three of us died at.
I died like 4 or 5 times.
That might legitimately be my least favorite scene that Telltale's ever done.
Yeah. It was like we all kept dying, because you had a lot, there's like 2 turrets that kept going back and forth, and you had to time throwing your hat, but we kept messing up the timing and getting shot.
The timing throughout all of the QTEs was kind of off.
Right, like I would do it thinking, the turrets are pointed at each other, I'm gonna look up, I'm gonna throw the hat, but I would instantly get shot. And I was like, they're not aiming at me, why am I dying?
So that was really annoying, but the best thing to come from it was after you succeed, she yells, touch goal. and then
or
Reese
something, I don't know, I'm happy.
And then Reese looks at her, he's like, touch goal? Like, what does that even mean? And she's like, oh, shut up. Yeah, that scene was really cool, and so you escape the factory, and then you have this showdown with Valerie. And you get a big decision where she's like, all right, who's responsible for all of this? And as Fiona, you throw someone under the bus. So I'm curious, who did you guys throw under the bus?
Well, I chose Vasquez. And he just was like, what? No, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But nothing really happened to him until a little bit afterwards when, she decides, like, you know what, you're useless, and shoots him.
Yeah, I think he gets shot and killed regardless.
Yeah, I'm very curious why that decision matters. That's one of the choices you see in the end of the game where it says, like, this is an important one. This is what some people did compared to you. And I don't know why, because I sold out Felix.
Yeah, so did I.
Because it was his fault, and these guys suck, but I'm not going to sell them out when it's really not their fault.
Yeah,
so Vasquez dies, irregardless.
Yeah, irregardless of who you
Regardless.
choose. Yeah, so I chose Felix too, but I'm curious because in my game, Felix is still alive. So I'm wondering if...
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if down the road in episode 4 or 5, if I'm going to run into him and he's going to be like, hey, so I heard you sold me out to Valerie. That's kind of messed up. But I'm like, well, you're awful anyways.
Yeah, he's the worst.
You turned on me and you're my father figure. After that, you get Athena sort of joins your party, and you realize that, oh man, Athena's been here to help me. She was hired by Felix. Like, we've sort of been dicks to her. That's not great. But then there's the introduction of my favorite character, Gortys.
Gortys is the best.
Voiced by Ashley Johnson, the cutest little robot. And then we get a scene where we have her voiced by Ashley Johnson. You have Reese, who's voiced by Troy Baker. You have Nolan North, and I'm just like, oh my, we're just recreating The Last of Us, which I'm sort of totally fine with. What did you guys feel of Gortys?
Gortys was great. It's a character that I didn't expect to exist, right? Like, you have this ball, didn't think it'd be a person. But the fact that Gortys is this adorable robot with a history and understands a lot of things, like, oh, Athena was there, murdered everyone from Atlas, yay!
Yeah.
But I thought she was a good contrast.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like she's super positive about everything, even when she's sad.
Yeah, like she doesn't know what to do. She's like, I don't know, we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna go here. And then Loaderbot's just like falling on, like, well, she's the leader now, so let's just do it.
It's great. She's like a child who happens to also be a genius, who happens to also be like the most important person in this universe at the moment.
I think my favorite moment, aside from, I mean, you and I talked about the great scene where she's pulling on on Vasquez's phone.
Yeah,
Come
she's
on,
like,
buddy, time to
come on.
go. Wake up. And it's so
Your guys'
good.
choices,
I
too.
stayed silent.
I said he's sleeping.
Oh,
I said he's dead.
I said he's dead, and she's like, "Oh, that's a bummer." I think it was like the first time she had to deal with death in her life, which was super funny.
She got over
her
real quick
reaction
though.
to sleeping was super cute. It's like, oh, okay, well,
Everyone be quiet. Yeah.
so cute.
But I love at the end when Gortys, I keep wanting to say Gladys.
I keep saying Gladys too.
Gortys is like, what do we do? And Reese just goes, run! And she just, okay, and is gone. It's like, I don't know why that was so funny. Reese is like, okay, and just vanishes.
Super great, super great. So like the back half of the episode takes place in this really super pretty like geodesic dome that it's sort of out in the middle of like this ice forest, and there's all these really weird luminescent
Weird
plants
jellyfish, mushroom plants.
And I really liked this area just because it was such a stark difference from the sort of, awful deserts and derelict factories that sort of make up Pandora, or the side of Pandora we see
Even
so
though
far.
it's within a factory.
Yeah, totally.
You also
It
get
was
to
not
see
my
a lot of
favorite
it.
Oh, you didn't like it?
It was not my favorite
Really?
place. No, it just felt completely out of context in the world of
Yeah.
Pandora. Like, I know it's supposed to be in a way,
Yeah.
but I don't. Maybe it's the design or the fact that was my least favorite part of the episode, where I thought it started to drag a little bit.
Okay.
Like, it had some of the funniest lines, but at the same time, it just,
See, that was my favorite
the whole
chunk
thing
of the
with
whole game.
Cassius was just kind of annoying to me.
Yeah, the Cassius thing was interesting because when we got into that room, to me it started feeling a lot like Lost, like we had just entered the hatch.
Yeah.
And, like, you're finding this like crazy man's map. You find this crazy dude who comes out. You're seeing all this stuff. You're wondering like, is this a working facility? What is this thing? And I feel like on literally every IGN video ever, I brought up Lost. So quota. I nailed that one.
I will say I didn't really understand the side quest of finding that energy for I almost said Gladys too. Gortys.
Yeah.
Just like
The
when
mod?
She,
The
like when
upgrade?
she gets legs, and then that sort of helps, kind of.
Yeah, you were
especially
wondering,
since in the present day scenario, she doesn't have it.
you just find it and you're like, oh, did this get shot out of, like, it seems like it got shot out of the Hyperion station, blew a hole into a mountain, and then just landed right in front of you.
Yep.
Yeah, so you get to that scene in the dome where your party splits up, and then Reese goes with Sasha, and Fiona goes with Athena, and I really like those two scenes.
That's
in
my
terms
favorite
of
sequence.
Really strengthening the characters individually and showing that they have, they are very different, and they do sort of want different outcomes. Like, how did you guys handle the sort of Reese Sasha relationship?
I played it very, not flirty, but friendly, right? Like, you have the opportunity to give her the flower, and you can say, like, oh, I'm not staring, you looked nice. Like, you're having a good time. And I like those interactions because it's not like they're falling in love, and it's not this stupid love story, but it is showing that Sasha is starting to feel compassion for Reese, somebody who she's traditionally been really hostile toward.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that we're seeing that relationship develop more than we're seeing Reese and Fiona, because we've seen that. We know what that is. Right. We see it in the present day, we see it in the past, we know that interaction, and it's great to have them split up and kind of develop on their own.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I didn't give her the flower,
Heartless.
but I had a plan, and I thought it was very clever because I told them before the
Yeah.
camera started rolling that I was going to pull a Final Fantasy VII where Cloud Strife in the beginning takes a flower from Aerith and gives it to Tifa.
Yeah.
I was going to take the flower and give it to Fiona as a mea culpa for choosing Jack over her.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So not in like a romantic way, more of in a like.
Well, kind of both. I'm kind of team Reese and Fiona. So,
shipping.
yeah.
Or shippers.
Whereas I just kept the flower because I just really wanted the flower.
I just thought, I don't know, I think the relationship between Sasha and Reese in my game right now is really cute. It almost feels like two middle schoolers who are sort of they might have a crush on each other.
Right.
You're going from that like ew girls, ew boys phase to
It's like the first girlfriend you've ever had.
yeah, but it's just like really wholesome, and I really like that a lot. So we'll see, how that pans out in the rest of the episode. And then you have, Fiona sort of
Coming into her own.
being
Discovering what
mentored
she
by
wants to
Athena,
do.
and like, oh, could I be a Vault Hunter?
Yeah.
I love their interactions where Fiona goes down and she's like, it's fine. I'm not mesmerized. We're just two cool chicks. We don't care about anything. Whatever. We're just so cool because I'm going to be a Vault Hunter like you.
Yeah, no, it felt a lot like when Reese met his first Vault Hunter in episode 1, and like how like adoring he was.
I do love that in those sequences you see Fiona, she's talking about, I'm going to be a Vault Hunter, and clearly, maybe she does, but clearly she's not right now.
Right.
But
Oh,
she does
totally.
have those moments where she is extremely badass.
Yeah.
Where there's the one choice where you can run to, like, if the turrets are like still attacking you, it's like, do you still hide? I
Yeah.
chose to run.
Run and be like, hey, like I'm gonna do this.
And then the turrets didn't shoot or anything.
I didn't. I chose to throw the shield and it backfired.
Yes.
I love that. So like last thing to talk about, the episode ends on this really sort of Empire Strikes Back note where like everything that could have went wrong does.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
the
But
bad
it's
guys
pretty
have the
epic.
upper hand. Yeah, and I think it's really great. You have this moment where like at least in my game, you don't know where certain characters are. Athena it might be alive, might be dead. I mean, she's alive.
She's alive.
She's alive, but like everything is just going wrong. Like how do you see? And then of course at the end you sort of show where are you going next, and you point up and you see the Hyperion station.
Yeah.
So what do you guys sort of feel like? What's the next step? What's going to happen from now on?
Well, I think it's going to be the beginning of the end, right? So
Yeah.
you're going to the space station, and so you're getting, closer and closer to the vault. Plus, the Helios space station is sort of Jack's territory, so
Yeah.
you know he's going to come more into play. He was kind of in it because I chose him, and he has sort of a dialogue with Reese where he was really annoying.
Yeah.
It was funny, but it was really
Yeah,
annoying.
yeah.
And then I think it's going to basically, everyone's going to collide on the Helios space station
Yeah.
because they're all going towards the same
All roads
goal.
lead there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all roads.
I'm really interested in how Mallory is going to do in the space station because I feel like she has to go up there, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a really cool character that I didn't expect to like a whole lot.
Yeah.
But Valerie's really interesting.
She's
and
like
cool.
she's
very
like Ursula. From
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Little
yeah.
Mermaid.
Yeah.
And I like that she's one of the kind of villainesses who's talking about how she's going to win, and then she does.
Yeah.
That was at the
Yeah.
end. She's like, no, this is like my show
I am
right
in
now.
She
Yeah.
totally subdued just by throwing a gun. She didn't even have
Yeah.
to shoot the gun. She
Yeah.
tosses it off Fiona.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
the godmother.
I feel like episode 4 will be the last time we play as Reese and Fiona in the past.
And then you think it's finally going to meet up to the framing device.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be super interesting. Thank you guys so much. Of
course.
I know we're all really excited for episode 4. We will be back. We'll do another one of these when episode 4 comes out. We'll see if our predictions were right. We're probably all wrong. But we'll see how our decisions in episode 3 and 4 are going to pan out. So for everything else, Tales from the Borderlands, you're already in the right place. IGN.com.